So guys, welcome back to game number 2, ¿Qué tal amigos? And now I am playing as the Morians and my enemy is playing as the Spartans, so we swapped civilizations. As I have pointed out, the Spartans probably the better civilization, although Maurya have some nice option for aggressive play early. This is also the strategy I will go for. Let's speed up. And let's see how it turns out this time. Many women being made here. I don't go for a farmstead, which maybe is bad because it doesn't allow me to make the basket upgrade, although it saves me some wood, which I use for making lots of cavalry to go for an early rush, which is the strategy here. So let's slow down as I am going forward. I am heading straight for the wood line where he has to retreat, as he has made no infantry just yet, apart from the starting infantry, which he has of course. He tried to go for a second barracks instead, which I have seen by some strong booming players, but it is incredibly risky to do. As you can see, he doesn't have the infantry to deal with a rush such as this. I tried to go around to see if I can find a woodline where he has retreated his women to. That is not the case though. So I go back to where I've been before. I assumed probably he has just one extra berries, but not two. So I am not really going for that area. I assume he might have sent his woman behind his base to find some safe spot, so I'm checking out what I can find here. My initial attack he reacted well and only lost 2 units, so that hasn't been going too great for me. I caused a lot of idle time though, made him retreat and so on and so on, but by now he has amassed enough infantry to actually chase me back. He's like 8 skirmishers and 2 spearmen. I maybe could win that fight if I microed very well and sniped out the skirmishers, but in such a heated situation it is always kind of hard to judge, and so I decide not to do it. I cannot count so fast. So now he's protecting his women up front, so I can't do any damage there. I know though that it is still going to be annoying if I stay around. He'll have to send his infantry, and now I actually take the fight. He has 6 skirmishers here. The cavalry do more damage than the skirmishers, so it should generally be a good fight for me. Here I'm getting lured a bit closer, and my cavalry is really low health, so I eventually have to retreat. As you can see, a fight not super great for me. I have equal kills here against mostly infantry and women, which actually doesn't give me an advantage as the cavalry is so much more expensive. I am still behind in population though, and in resources as well, as I just caused a lot of idle time for him, made him move and run around his base a lot, and therefore he has an extra barracks which will help him boom faster in the long run. So let's fast forward a bit again and wait for the next action to come. I am taking some of the hunt in the middle to make some use of my root units, and actually it also allowed me to scout this attack, and let's see how this is going to go. My woodline luckily is in the back, so he is not able to attack me in a crucial spot so fast. My barracks are empty though, and he would be able to capture it. I also had decided to add a second stable to continue playing aggressively and harassing him with cavalry. Maybe not a great choice because it is so slow, but you always have a chance if your opponent splits up or makes his fields in unsafe positions to cause a lot of damage. And as I have said, this was my best chance from what I assumed, to talk about that fight that happened right here. I think he sent far too few units, actually not all of his infantry, and I had great numbers there. I could catch him in the back and circling him, and he basically had no choice of winning there. As you can see, much better kills for me, and I still maintain the population lead. Although it is not as big as you might assume it would be if you look at how many kills I have made in comparison to him. But of course, making this table and going for cavalry plays a massive part here. So for example, such fields are such a nice target, you go there again and again, and your opponent will have to dedicate some infantry in order to protect it, and it will just be incredibly annoying. What I could have done here is maybe get a little bit closer, so he can't retreat so easily. I mean a little bit closer before actually targeting the units. I could have probably gotten more hits in that case. Still equal population where I have some more calves, so I think overall my situation is good. And I have some reason for confidence here. Now that I saw that spot once, I also continue to attack it. Although, as you can see, there is plenty of infantry here. I think at this point also he disconnected once. I am not sure if it was this time. I don't think it was that time. It was later, where I lost some of my cavalry when the game continued because I didn't correctly keep track of the most critical part to react very fast. Try to go for his fields a bit to make his units garrison. Don't want to stay there for too long, as I saw he had some infantry close by which he could garrison, and therefore increase his CC fire. In the following, I continue with my strategy, go for second phase, and make some infantry also, of course, but as you can see, he has 3 barracks, I have only 1, therefore his boom is just faster. He's adding even a 4th one, which of course makes his production happen in much less time than it is for me. Here I get a bit in between units, so I'm taking some losses. At least I cause some units to run around. I think this maybe was the point where he had to disconnect it. I am down to only 6 cavalry, which of course greatly hurts my potential to do damage, as even a small infantry force now is enough to guarantee safety for my opponent. Also, the bigger number of barracks starts to pay off. As you can see, he has started to get to a significant population lead of up to 40. I go again for his fields, but actually this time he decides to counter-attack. Probably sensing that he is ahead, or that he might be ahead at least. And also he had gone for some similar strategies before. I realized that. I tried to get my units into safety, but of course I am somewhat afraid. There is 70 infantry. I only have 70 infantry in total, and the Spartans' infantry is stronger than mine. So I have no chance if I take this fight straight on, so I decide to retreat behind the civic center to get some fire support from there. One of the important advantages of the archers though is that they are able to shoot from a larger distance, so you can stay under UCC and target the enemy units while they might not be able to target you all the time. Here a lot of his army is split up from his main force, so here I actually have a significant advantage in numbers and therefore should be doing great in this fight. Now this army is retreating and the other doesn't dare to approach just yet. Although maybe he could, it is unclear how it would have turned out. Instead he decides to go back, maybe also seeing that he has a bad KD. He took out one barracks though, which I didn't manage to garrison in time. And still wants to stay close a little bit. And I have to continue defending. As you can see, I have a garrison CC. I am not sure if I maybe forgot to ungarrison those units earlier to fight, or if it made more sense to leave them garrisoned. I'm not sure about that. But as you can see, I go for the same strategy, and all of his units are very wounded. So actually, right now I am in a good position to win here. Still, he has maintained much higher population, as I had to send most of my economy to war in order to defend this attack. And therefore he could maintain his lead, although I got a great kitty. Maybe I should have used less units, but on the other hand, there was no real safe space. Maybe over there I could have retreated and tried to defend with less. But it was also not obvious to me that he would be ahead if I was looking at my KD. It's hard to estimate how fast people generally are, so you never know. And let's skip to the next engagement. I added blacksmith because it was a big advantage the last time. He doesn't have a blacksmith just yet. I try to stay annoying over here and distract him a bit from booming freely. He's using his resources really well. He's not floating a lot, although he has 116 units on wood. Well, now starts to, but generally that's important for booming. So at this point I had decent amounts of metal and stone, and I knew that it will be difficult to take a straight fight against Cronelius, so therefore I thought it might be a great idea to go for a second CC, just to have some point where I can retreat to. I expected him to attack again in a too distant future, so I thought that might be a correct choice. But let's see what happens. What happens is that he detects my civic center and he chases me back. There's no way I can fight such a huge force. I am also not super confident I am ahead generally, so I just decide to give it up and not to suicide. Like for example, you saw it happen in my game against MarcAurel. If you've seen that story, if this has been a spoiler to you. Instead he is going for a CC, maybe I have inspired him to do so, I am not sure. Maybe he just wants to take some space. I think he just could have gone for P3 and siege units. He can do that anyways. As you can see, he's adding a siege workshop here. I am not in P3 yet. I think I am about to go soon. Yes, I've queued it up already. Both of us have some military upgrades. And because I am still a bit concerned of running out of space because of this forward CC, I tried to make one over there, just so I will have access to some wood lines, and also because I expect an attack to come. And it's always nice to have a second CC to back you up, so you don't lose your territory in case your first CC gets taken down. I even make a second civic center over there. This probably was not the greatest choice and is a waste of resources. I just thought it could be a good idea maybe to spread out and not leave map control to him. But actually maybe I should have better invested into the last military upgrade, which I can afford anyways though. So now that he has his rounds ready, he's going for the attack. I have a few sword cav, but not many. Not enough. Let's go a bit to slow speed. and take a closer look at this engagement. You can see I try to kind of spread out my archers and retreat, but my spearmen are not really in front, and his spearmen are directly engaging my archers. Also, he has a bit bigger numbers. I have some CC support, of course, but as you can see here, the general superiority and damage output of skirmishers comes into play. CC doesn't play such a big role anymore with such high army numbers and also upgrades, which massively helps against CC fire. So he's able to take down my civic center and also has gotten a great KD. So at this point the game is over and I have to resign, which I'm sure is going to happen in a second. Yes, right now. So at this point it's 1-1 equal score with equal civs. So seems to be a good opponent for me to measure myself against. Hope you enjoyed the second video and looking forward to see you in part number 3.